Okay, so imagine for a second that there's this literal biological window of opportunity.
Right.
And I don't mean like a metaphorical thing or a when the stars align kind of thing.
No, this is real physical.
Exactly. A physical, physiological reality.
Mhm.
And this window, it's wide open right now. I mean, as wide as it will ever be. But, and here's the real kicker, it is slowly, inch by inch, starting to slide shut.
And the scary part is, it doesn't really care if you're ready. It's on its own schedule, whether you're paying attention or not.
Exactly. And the premise we're looking at today, it suggests that if you throw something heavy like a habit or a physical baseline through that window now, it just lands perfectly. It builds a foundation that sticks.
But if you wait,
If you wait until that window is barely cracked open in your late 30s or 40s, getting that same thing through becomes this monumental struggle.
it's a terrifying visual, but honestly, when you look at the data, it's pretty spot on. And we're not talking about your career here or investing. We're talking about your actual biological machinery, specifically the window for physical training.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a source called Building Your Foundation, the vitality of training early. And look, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, great, another lecture about cardio or eating more kale. But reading this, I realized this isn't about getting a beach body for summer. It's not vanity.
No, it's so much bigger than aesthetics. This is about structural engineering for the human body.
Right. This source frames your 20s not as a playground, which is how we usually treat them, but as the construction phase of your entire life. The whole argument is fundamentally about efficiency.
Yeah.
And I love efficiency. I'm always looking for the lazy way to get big results. And this source basically says the ultimate cheat code for health is just timing.
It's the classic efficiency argument just applied to biology. Think about it like investing, right? We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Start saving at 22 and compound interest makes you a millionaire. Start at 35 and you're just playing catch up for the rest of your life.
Just to break even.
Exactly. And this source argues your body works on the exact same principle. You can build the house now when the materials are cheap and the labor is easy, or you can try to build it later when the cost has doubled and the labor force has, gone on strike.
I love that framing, when the labor is easy. Because let's be honest, everything feels harder when you're older. So let's unpack this biological prime idea. The source calls the 20s the golden era for biology. It says your body is basically a Ferrari during this decade.
Whether you drive it like one or not.
Right. So let's get under the hood.
Yeah.
What's actually happening physiologically that makes this time so special? Why are the materials so cheap right now?
Okay, so it comes down to this specific cocktail of physiological factors that just naturally peak during this decade. Things you almost take for granted until they're gone.
Like what?
First, and this is the big one, you have peak hormonal support. We're talking naturally high testosterone and optimal growth hormone production.
And just to be clear for everyone listening, we're not just talking about macho hormones. This isn't just for bodybuilders. These are the primary drivers of tissue repair for everybody, right?
Exactly. These are the recovery hormones. They're the construction workers. They're what lets you tear a muscle down in the gym and have it rebuild stronger, like within 48 hours.
Okay.
Later in life, that hormonal profile drops, and that recovery process slows way down. It's like having a construction crew of 100 workers in your 20s and a crew of maybe 10 in your 40s.
And you're trying to build the same house.
With a tenth of the workforce. Precisely. Then you add in things like joint flexibility. Your connective tissues are collagen-rich and forgiving. And on top of that, you have a really efficient metabolism.
So nature is basically giving you this huge tailwind. You're sailing downwind and you might not even realize it.
You really are. The source says your body responds faster to stimulus now than it ever will again. Muscle builds quicker. Fat burns easier. Strength gains happen at a rate that, honestly, it kind of spoils you. You can make mistakes in your 20s and still make progress. But there's a statistic in the source that really quantifies this, the ratio.
I bookmarked that page. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
The 1-to-4 rule.
That's the one. The source states, what takes 1 year of consistent training in your 20s can take 3 to 4 years of grinding in your 30s to achieve the exact same result.
Just let that sink in for a second. That is wild leverage. It's a biological arbitrage opportunity.
It is.
You do 1 year of solid work now. You lock in the result. If you procrastinate on that same work until you're 35, you're looking at 4 years of struggle for the exact same outcome.
And honestly, that's best case. Because later on, you're not just fighting for progress, you're fighting against a body that naturally wants to degrade you're swimming upstream.
Right.
Right now, as the source puts it, your body is literally saying, train me. It's begging for input. It wants to adapt. Ignoring that signal is, in a very real sense, a waste of your best natural resources.
It's like leaving free money on the table every single day. So we've established the when, which is now. Let's move to the what. What are we actually building? The source breaks this down into a few bank accounts that you're depositing into. There's the physical, the mental, and then this really interesting aura concept. Let's start with the physical bank account.
Okay, so the first deposit into that account is muscle memory. But I think people misunderstand that term. It gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, when I hear muscle memory, I think of like remembering how to ride a bike or something. It feels like a brain thing.
That's part of it, for sure, the neurological pathways. But in this context, the source is talking about cellular structure. We're talking about myonuclei.
Myonuclei. Okay, let's get nerdy. What are those?
Think of them as the little command centers of your muscle cells. When you train hard and build muscle mass in your 20s, your body actually creates new nuclei to support that larger muscle.
Okay.
But here's the magic. Even if you stop training later in life and the muscle shrinks, those nuclei stick around. They don't disappear.
So the infrastructure stays put.
Precisely. You built the factory, maybe you shut down the assembly line for a few years, but the machines are still there. So when you start training again at 40, your body just remembers the blueprint. It's so much easier to reinflate that muscle than to build it from scratch.
That is incredibly reassuring. It's basically an insurance policy. You're banking these nuclei for a rainy day.
Your banking potential. And speaking of insurance, the second point is one that almost nobody in their 20s cares about, but everyone in their 50s loses sleep over it: bone density and joints.
Bone density has to be the least sexy phrase in fitness. It sounds like something you worry about when you're buying a walker.
It is unsexy until you slip on some ice and break a hip. The source connects weight training to something called Wolff's Law, which is just the idea that bone grows in response to the force you put on it.
Okay.
So if you load your skeleton with heavy weights now, while your hormones are high, your bones literally become denser. You're basically armor plating your skeleton.
So this is your direct protection against the whole creaky knees future.
It's anti-fragility. We think of joints wearing out from use, like tires on a car, but that's a myth. Biological tissues get stronger with stress as long as you recover. If you don't load them young, they just stay brittle.
Got it. You're upgrading the chassis of the car.
Exactly. Now, the next point is one I think everyone cares about: metabolism. The source makes a simple equation. More muscle equals a higher metabolic rate.
Right.
This is the mechanic that lets people stay lean later in life without starving themselves. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive. It's high maintenance. It costs your body energy just to keep it alive.
So the muscle pays rent in calories.
Correct. So if you build that V8 engine in your 20s, you're burning more fuel just sitting on the couch in your 30s. If you don't, your metabolism slows, your activity drops, and suddenly that one slice of pizza hits very differently.
You want the V8 burning gas even when you're parked.
Exactly. And the final physical benefit is injury resistance. Strong muscles are shock absorbers for your ligaments and tendons. It just means you stay athletic longer. But I think where this source really shines is when it pivots away from the biceps and goes upstairs. Because the argument is that the gym doesn't just build muscles.
It builds you.
Yeah.
This is section 3, the mental rewire. And honestly, this resonated with me more than the physical stuff. The source explicitly links gym discipline to success in your career, relationships, even money habits.
Because the gym is a controlled environment for practicing difficulty. Think about it. You don't want to go. It's raining, you're tired, Netflix is right there.
The couch is calling your name.
Right, but you go anyway. You feel weak under the bar, you want to quit at 8 reps, but you push to 10 anyway. That process isn't just physical. It rewires your brain's executive function.
It's training your do-it-anyway muscle.
It really is. The source argues this discipline isn't compartmentalized. Your brain doesn't know the difference between gym discipline and life discipline. If you can grind out a heavy set of squats when your legs are burning, you are building the exact neural architecture to handle a tough conversation with your partner or to stick to a budget.
You learn that discomfort isn't a stop sign.
It's just information. And that leads right to the second psychological benefit: confidence. But the source is really careful to make a distinction here. We're not talking about, gym bro swagger.
No, not posturing.
No, it distinguishes between fake confidence, which is loud and fragile, and real confidence, which is quiet and durable. And real confidence comes from competence. from the undeniable proof proven to yourself by yourself that you can do hard things.
And the source says this changes how you carry yourself physically, too.
It does. Changes in posture, eye contact, physical presence. You aren't trying to convince people you're strong, you simply are strong. And that changes the feedback loop you get from the world.
And then there's stress control. The source calls the gym therapy without words, which, I mean, given how much therapy costs, is a pretty good deal.
Well, we can't ignore the neurochemistry. In our high-stress world, we're just flooded with cortisol. Heavy exertion triggers this release of dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. It's a chemical flush. It resets the system.
Right.
And the outcome is you think clearer, you react calmer, and you sleep deeper. It regulates your emotional baseline so you're not constantly redlining.
Okay, so we've got the hardware, the body, we've got the software, the brain. Now, I want to get to the most unique part of this source. Section 4, the aura.
I was waiting for this part.
I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Usually when I see words like aura and energy in a fitness text, my skeptic alarm goes off. It sounds a bit...
A little woo-woo?
Exactly, little crystals and incense. But the source claims this is biological, not magical. How do they bridge that gap?
They bridge it through the autonomic nervous system. The source argues that what we perceive as an aura or a presence is really just a signal of a well-regulated nervous system. Okay. When you train regularly, your heart rate drops, your breathing deepens. You shift out of fight or flight and into rest and digest more easily.
The source uses the term rooted. It says people feel it when you enter a room, not because you are loud, but because you are rooted.
And being rooted is just a physical state of stability. A person who is physically strong and has good cardio health tends to breathe slower. They don't fidget, their energy is contained, it's stable, and that projects this subconscious sense of safety and power to everyone else.
So your aura becomes stronger because your body becomes stronger.
That's the core logic. It's not about levitating, it's about biological signaling. We're animals, we pick up on these cues.
Okay, so we've covered the upside. We've seen the efficiency, the insurance, the mental toughness, the aura. Now we have to look at the flip side. Part 5 of the source, the uncomfortable truth.
This is the necessary reality check. The source argues that the default state of nature is entropy, things fall apart. If you aren't actively building, you are actively decaying. There is no neutral.
And the first point here is simple, but it's brutal. Muscle loss.
Sarcopenia. It's the technical term for the natural decline of muscle tissue that kicks in after age 30. And the source points out the real tragedy here. If you never built a foundation in your 20s, there's nothing to preserve.
You're not losing excess, you're cutting into the bone.
You're losing functional strength. You become frail. And while the muscle is disappearing, something else appears. Fat accumulation.
The double whammy.
A slower metabolism plus sedentary habits creates visceral fat. The source even lists the trouble spots: belly, chest, lower back, the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs.
But the point that hit me hardest in this section wasn't about fat or muscle. It was about energy. How many people do we know in their late 20s or early 30s who are just constantly tired?
All of them.
And they joke about it. Oh, I'm just getting old. Adulting is exhausting. I need 5 coffees to function.
The source attacks that mindset aggressively. It calls it the adult life myth. It argues that feeling tired all the time at 30 isn't a natural part of aging. It's a consequence of underuse of the body.
Underuse of the body. That's a stinging phrase.
But it's accurate. The human machine creates energy by expending it. It's counterintuitive. We think of energy like a battery. If I use it, it runs out. But our energy is the opposite. By sitting still to save energy, you're actually telling your body to produce less energy.
You're training your mitochondria to be lazy.
You are literally training yourself to be lethargic, and this links right back to the mental side, too. The source calls it mental weakness as a direct consequence.
How so?
Well, if training teaches you to embrace discomfort, then avoiding training teaches you to avoid challenges. The source links this to procrastination, low motivation, self-doubt. You consistently choose the couch over the squat rack, and that pattern bleeds into your career, into your relationships. You just become softer in every aspect.
And that leads to the final consequence mentioned, regret. The source makes an observation about people in their 30s. It says, most people don't regret not partying more. They regret not taking care of their body when it was easiest.
It's the regret of the closed window. They realized that when the window was wide open, they just walked right past it. Now it's closing, the leverage is gone, and everything is harder.
They're playing the game on hard mode when they could have been on easy mode.
Right.
But let's paint the other picture, because for the listener who does take action, who does use their 20s to build this foundation, the timeline looks very different.
It's a completely different trajectory. The source outlines it decade by decade. If you train consistently now, here's the payoff. Your 30s feel like your 20s used to.
You keep that energy.
You keep the energy. Your 40s feel capable. You're strong, active. You're not slowing down. And your 50s feel mobile.
You're not the person who grunts just to get out of a chair. You're not the person who can't play on the floor with their grandkids.
Exactly. The shift is profound. The source says, you don't chase health later, you carry it with you. You aren't scrambling to fix problems. You're just maintaining a high-performance machine.
Carrying health with you. I love that.
Yeah.
It changes health from a panic to a possession. So what does this all boil down to?
It boils down to a binary choice. The source presents it clearly in its final message. Your 20s are not for comfort, they are for construction. That's the mission statement.
Construction versus comfort.
And the choice is this. You can either build the body that supports your dreams, or, and this is the line that really stuck with me, you can borrow energy from your future and pay with pain later.
Wow. Borrow energy from your future. That's heavy. It frames inactivity not as a neutral state, but as a debt. You're racking up debt that your future self has to pay off.
And the currency of that payment is pain. Joint pain, metabolic pain, the mental pain of regret. The gym, in this view, isn't about looking good on Instagram today. It's about earning your future strength.
It's an act of kindness to the person you'll be in 10, 20, 30 years.
And, as the source says, your future self is watching.
It's a little creepy, but also incredibly motivating. It creates this loop where you're accountable to the person you're going to become.
It forces you to realize that you and your future self are the same person. Treating your body poorly now is just sabotaging your own teammate.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, that is the question we want to leave you with. It's so easy to skip the workout today, to say, I'll start Monday, or I'll start when life settles down.
Always later.
Always later. But if we accept the premise that your 20s are a biological window that is slowly closing, the math changes.
The math becomes undeniable, that 1-to-4 ratio, the compound interest of muscle nuclei, the mental rewiring, it all points to one single action. Start. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now.
Start. Because if you are currently sitting there, borrowing energy from your future self, you have to ask yourself, just how high is that interest rate going to be when the bill finally comes due?
Don't wait for the bill, build the foundation.
That's it for this deep dive. Go build something. See you next time.